at the local coffee shop the other day and I ran into one of our listeners. If you know who you are, hi, thanks for tuning in. So, to keep your identity private, we're going to call this listener Sarah. That's not her real name. Sarah and I got talking about my local hiking group, and I was posting my flyer on the coffee shop board, and she shared with me that she has a muscle injury right now and is super bummed she can't come to any of the hikes. And this got us talking about health and the gym that she goes to. And she loves this gym because there's accountability and there's classes with other women like her. And it's just a moment to really focus on herself, her connection, that community, and her health. But after a few minutes of conversation, Sarah shared with me that she has a very full life and things have been super stressful. She feels like she's juggling a lot right now. She recently lost a loved one and she can't focus on her health as much as she would like. And it's pretty discouraging for her. It gets her down. And so I shared with Sarah that health is really just about taking one step forward at a time. It doesn't have to be perfect or even visible to others. It just has to be a meaningful step towards your health for you. This is exactly what we are getting into today. So Sarah, I hope you're listening and I hope you take this episode to heart. Hello and welcome to the Move, Grow, Rise podcast, where health meets real life. I'm your host, Jade Twombly, Nutritional Therapy Practitioner and founder of Move Holistic Health and Nutrition. On this podcast, we believe wellness shouldn't feel overwhelming. Whether you're a professional craving balance, a busy mama seeking peace and energy, or just starting your wellness journey and feeling unsure where to begin, this space is for you. Each week, we dive into practical tools for holistic health, nutrition that nourishes without the drama, and self-care that actually fits your life. You'll find beginner-friendly guidance, budget-conscious tips, and real conversations that cut through the noise. No fluff, no guilt, no one-size-fits-all advice. Just grounded support to help you reconnect with your body, feel more like yourself again, and grow into your most authentic, powerful self. Whether you're walking, at your desk, or driving, let's move, grow, rise together. Hello and welcome back to the Move, Grow, Rise podcast. I'm your host, Jade Twombly, Nutritional Therapy Practitioner, mama, and your guide for all things health, nutrition, and self-development. If you ever felt like wellness is just another thing on your to-do list, you are not alone. Today, we're pulling things back to something simple, powerful, and science-backed. We're talking about mindful moments. These are small pauses that help you feel calm, grounded, and connected to your body without needing to overhaul your life. This is essential for our busy professionals, our mamas, our college students, and caregivers. Let me set the scene. So the other day, I was washing dishes, my son was playing with his monster trucks, the sun was coming through the window, and for just a second, I paused. I felt the warm water on my hands, I took a deep breath, and I was just one with the present moment. That was a mindful moment, and it reminded me that peace doesn't have to be scheduled in. It can be found right here, right now. It's these little moments that help guide us through seasons of stress and overwhelm. And today I'm going to share with you what mindful moments actually are and what they're not, the science of why they matter, and real life ways to practice them with nutrition, with movement, and with your nervous system in mind. Let's take a breath together, whether you're listening to this in the car, on a walk, or at the gym, or if you're just doing chores. Take an inhale and exhale. Get into the moment and let's start. Let's dive in and break down why we are overwhelmed. Modern life is so full on, right? Like between social media, constant decision making, and decade-old wellness expectations, it's easy to feel like you're never doing enough. And I want to share with you what the science says about this feeling of overwhelm. And I'm also going to link some studies in the show notes if you're curious and want to check them out. So we are exposed to more information in a day than our ancestors were in a year. This is constant input of overstimulation for our brains, and that puts this loop of learning new things, of thoughts, of worries, of anxieties, of I'm not enoughness that happens. There's also decision fatigue that is so real. We make about 35,000 decisions every single day. every time you decide whether to eat this or that, you're opening Instagram, you say yes to this plan, it chips away at your brain's energy and your body's stress response. I don't know if you guys have been seeing those Instagram reels lately, but I taught middle school science, and so of course I have a lot of reels about teachers. And there was these teachers that were going to work, and every time a student asked them questions, they would click the button, and they were tracking how many questions they were getting each day. And honestly, you guys, just at work, teachers were getting around, like, I think the average was about 400 questions every single day. So add that on top of already making 35,000 decisions every day. Now you're answering over 400 questions just at your day job. Of course, it's overstimulating. Of course, it's overwhelming and stressful. And then also, when your nervous system is constantly being activated like this, your vagus nerve, which is something that's supposed to help your body calm down, it goes offline. And you might feel wired, anxious, bloated, or disconnected from, those hunger and fullness cues. But there is some good news. Moments of mindfulness throughout your day can help reset your nervous system and rewire your brain for a sense of calm. A mindful moment, it's not just about meditation. It's anytime you bring your full attention to the present moment without judgment. So John Kabat-Zinn defines it beautifully. Paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. A Hartford study found that people spend nearly half their waking time thinking about something other than what they are doing, and this mind wandering is linked to unhappiness. So considering everything that we've learned so far, a mindful moment might be just taking 3 deep breaths before a meal, sipping your morning tea slowly, feeling the sun on your skin for 30 seconds, putting your hand on your belly or chest when you're anxious. I took a couple breaths when I was washing the dishes. Mindful moments are just a way to remind your body that you are safe and present in the moment. Here are my favorite research-backed ways to create mindful moments, especially through food and nourishment. So the first one is mindful breathing, and this works because deep, slow breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers your cortisol levels and your blood pressure. So you've probably heard me speak about box breathing before, and that's because it's so powerful. But if you haven't, let me explain it again. Box breathing is when you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. So you do this before your meals, after a stressful conversation, or when you wake up. I've actually done this with my students in the classroom, so if you're a teacher listening, it's something really beautiful to do with them. And if you do this before your meals, it's actually going to support your digestion. It signals to your body that it's safe to produce stomach acid and enzymes that you need to support that digestion of your food. When we're eating in a really stressed state, what actually happens is blood and energy is being taken away from your digestion when you're stressed. So that way, in case there was an attack or something, you would be physically ready. However, in our everyday lives, we're not under physical threats like that. And so when we're in our sympathetic nervous system, when we're digesting, we're not going to be actually digesting that food at an optimal level. And so that's why we want to be at a parasympathetic state, that rest and digest state of our nervous system when we're eating. And we can do that just simply by taking a couple deep breaths. The second one is mindful eating. And so again, this is around food, it's around nutrition. Eating slowly improves digestion and satisfaction. It also helps you notice your fullness and hunger cues easier. So here's a trick. Put your fork down between your bites. So every time you take a new bite of food, rest your fork on the table. It sounds really simple, but oftentimes when we're stressed or we're overwhelmed, we're not really thinking about what we're doing in the moment, we'll just be shoveling food in our mouths and chewing it maybe like 5 to 6 times. You're going to try to put your fork down and chew 15 to 20 times. This just allows a little bit of a pause, and it's especially helpful if you've ever struggled with bloating, overeating, or guilt around food. Try it just with one meal today, no phone, just your senses. This is super powerful, especially when we think about like bloating, because oftentimes bloating is associated with food that we're intolerant to. And that's actually not the only reason why we could be bloating. We could be bloating because we simply did not chew our food enough and didn't help our bodies break it down enough. So that way now there's like this big backup of food in our stomach because it's having to do so much more work to break down the same food that you should have already broken down a little bit by chewing. The third one is sensory grounding while moving. So walking mindfully reduces rumination and boosts mood. On your next walk, choose one sense to focus on. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel under your feet? Something super powerful is if you walk barefoot on the grass and you really focus on what are the sensations on my feet. Often you're going to feel that the ground is cool, that the grass is soft, or maybe you hit a rock and it's prickly. And all of those little things, they actually bring you back to that present moment. And there's this really powerful grounding effect that putting your feet on the earth has on your energy. And so this is what we talk about when we mean sensory grounding while moving. That's one that you would do with touch, right? Your feet on the ground. But you could really just focus on what are you seeing? Maybe you choose a color. Maybe you go for a mile walk and you just try to identify everything that is red that you see. And then the next time you go, you think about everything that's blue. And I guarantee you're going to pick up on totally different things in your environment just by focusing on that color. Then you can also focus on what do you hear? Do you hear birds? Are you listening for a creek? Are you listening for traffic? Whatever it is, you don't have to do all of these sensations at once, right? You're just picking one sensation and you are focusing on it in a way that's going to bring you to that present moment. Movement also really helps with our blood sugar regulation. So if you're having lunch and then you go for a 10-minute walk after, it can lower the glucose spike in your bloodstream, and it's also going to support your hormone balance. Here's my fourth tip that you could try, which is digital mindfulness. And this matters because mindless scrolling overstimulates your brain and can disrupt your sleep. We'll go on our Instagram or Facebook and we're going to see someone's baby shower, then we're going to see someone's obituary, and then this tragic thing happened, and then this person graduated, and it becomes this like entourage of new information of things we didn't even know we were missing out on or should feel bad about, and it's overwhelming. And so before you open a social app, pause and ask yourself, what do I need right now? Maybe you're actually seeking connection and can make a call to a friend or a family member. Maybe you're wanting to rest and you just need to take a nap. Maybe it's a snack that you're needing. And instead of focusing on the connection, the rest, and the snack, you're just numbing yourself with social media. And I am not just putting this on your shoulders. I'm saying I do this too. And I need to focus on asking myself that too, because it is just so ingrained in our culture right now, in our lifestyle, in our day to day, to go on Instagram and Facebook and mindlessly scroll. Here's a nutrition tip. Try pairing your screen break with hydration. So set a water reminder and take a stretch when you pause. So every time you're getting a reminder on your phone to drink some water, maybe you're just putting your phone down, you're pausing, and then you're drinking that water. My grandma has an app for this. I know it's pretty popular. I don't have one specifically for you at the top of my head, but if my grandma can find one, you can find one too. Love you, Grams. Okay. Let me take a sip of my water. Let me bring it back to a few ideas based on the season of life that you're in. So if you're a mama to a young child like I am, here is some ideas for you for mindful moments. You could sip a warm beverage while your baby naps. You could use diaper changes as a time to take deep breaths. So every time you change baby's diaper, you're taking some deep breaths. You could do box breathing or just some like long inhales and exhales. And the third one is eat a small protein-rich snack every 3 hours to stabilize your blood sugar and mood. So maybe you're feeding baby every 3 hours if you have a really young child. You could have a snack every time baby snacks. If wellness and health is new to you, here are some tips. You could start your day with a glass of mineral-rich water by adding a pinch of sea salt and some lemon juice to your water. You could write down one thing that you're grateful for while you're eating your breakfast. And don't worry about being perfect. Just choose one mindful habit and repeat it daily. If you've been interested in health and wellness, know a little bit about your body, but want to do better, this is what you could do. You could do a weekly nervous system check-in and ask yourself, what is my breathing like? Am I eating my meals in a calm state? Am I chewing enough? Am I taking some deep breaths? You could prep a nourishing lunch with healthy fats, fiber, and protein. Eat it tech-free, don't be on your phone, and use herbs like chamomile or lemon balm in a tea to have a sense of calmness. If you're at the point where you're intentionally adding to your health routine for optimal wellness, you could practice mindful eating with your morning meal. Notice the textures, the flavors, your hunger level, and then support digestion with bitter foods such as arugula, radish, dandelion, and eat slowly. This is especially important for those of you who might not have enough hydrochloric acid. And then you could choose a nighttime ritual. So having some sort of magnesium drink, asking your partner for a foot massage, asking your partner or giving yourself a foot massage, or even just stretching. And in closing, you deserve some peace. It's not a luxury in life, it's a need. Your body and mind crave presence, connection, and simplicity. Start small, one mindful moment at a time. If this episode gave you something to breathe deeper about, I'd love if you'd leave a review or share it with someone who is ready to slow down. You can DM me on Instagram at Move, Grow, Rise Podcast and tell me which mindful moment you're trying this week. I'd truly love to cheer you on and support you in that. Until next time, breathe often, take care, and incorporate some mindful moments into your every single day. Before you go, if today's episode gave you something to think about, encouraged you, or made you feel a little more seen, I'd love for you to do a few things that help build our Move, Grow, Rise community. First, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Second, leave a review. Your feedback helps more women find this space. And third, share this episode with a friend who could use some grounded, guilt-free wellness support. And if you're ready for deeper one-on-one guidance on your wellness journey, head on over to Move Holistic Health and Nutrition. That's where you'll find individualized nutritional therapy and support tailored just for you because your body, your story, and your needs are unique. Your support means the world and it helps us keep building this community of compassionate, empowered women. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust your body, and keep making those meaningful moves. You got this. The information presented on this podcast is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only, and it hasn't been evaluated by the Food or Drug Administration. This information isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any condition or disease, nor is it medical advice. One should always consult a qualified medical professional before engaging in dietary and/or lifestyle change.